Hi, this is Mrs. Bolin here with your solutions for practice quiz number 4. So we're going to jump right in. Question number 1 here says, which of the following relations or graphs are functions? So as you remember, you could do the vertical line test, and if each vertical line only passes through one point, you know that it is a function. If you could draw even one vertical line that passes through 2 points, not a function. And what that represents is each input having only one output. If I plug in 1, I know I'm going to get out 1. If I plug in 2, I know I'm going to get out 2. There's no other possibilities for each of those inputs. So yes, that one is a function. Question number, or the second little graph here, that one is not a function because I can draw lots of vertical lines that would pass through at 2 different points. So not a function. This next little one, all we have to do is check the inputs. So if I'm plugging in -2, -1, 0, +1, +2, all of those are different. So automatically, yes, it is a function. If I plugged in the same input, so if the input was repeated and the outputs were different, not a function. Otherwise, it is. Okay, look at this one. Passes the vertical line test. Each vertical line only passes through one point. So yes, that is a function. This one, all of our inputs are different, -6, -1, 4, 8. So that's totally fine. It's only a problem if one of those were repeated and if it went to 2 different outputs. Like this one down here, look at this one. So if I plug in -6, I get out -3. That's fine. If I plug in -3, I get out -1. So far, so good. I plug in 2, sometimes it gives me 0 and sometimes it gives me 1. That is not how a function behaves. A function behaves in such a way that whatever input I plug in, I will always get the same answer for that one input. So if there's 2 different possibilities, it's not a function. Question number 2, we're going to determine the same thing. So let's look at the inputs together. -2, -1, +1, +2, +3. So since those are all different, yeah, it's a function. So you might see, oh, and even those are different signs. So all the outputs are different too. So that one, they're not even trying to trick you. Question 3 says, determine whether the relation is a function. So look at the inputs, they're all different. So yes, it's a function. It does not matter that this 2 is repeated because that's an output. The only thing that matters is that we're checking for the inputs. Question number 4, those each input has only one output. It does pass the vertical line test. So yes, that would be a function. Question number 5, which ones are linear functions? And remember, the word linear has the word line in it. And so a line would be y = mx plus b. And so this one, even though it doesn't look like y = mx plus b right now, I could distribute the 3, I could add the 5, and yes, that one could be written in that form. This one is also written in that form with zero x's. That's fine. That's a horizontal line. It passes through the y-axis at 8. So that is a linear function. The only line that we couldn't have would be if it was a vertical. That's where there is not even a y. It's just an x equals. So that's not the case here. This one has an absolute value, which makes the shape look like a V. This one is not a linear function. This one is being divided by x. It would be totally fine if the 2 were on the bottom, but when the variable is on the bottom, it is not a linear function. If your x has an exponent, it is not a linear function. This one is a linear function. I could add that 6x on both sides and then divide by -3, and I would get it in y = mx plus b form. So yes, that one is a linear function. Question number 6, is this linear? Yep, linear function. It makes a straight line that's not vertical. What about this one? Nope, curvy line, not linear. Question number 8 says, does the table represent a linear or nonlinear function? Well, we want to check and see if it has a constant rate of change. So if you look at the x's and the x's go +2, +2, +2, then we would expect that the y's would also have a similar rate of change. So this one goes down by 10, and then down by 5. So it looks so good for those first 3 points, but because of that last one where the pattern breaks, we would say that's not linear. Question number 9 says, find the value of x so that the function has the given value. So this one, do not be tricked, you guys. It is not telling you to plug in 7 for x. What it's saying is find the value of x that makes the function 7. So if I were to take this 7 right here, and oops, sorry, I didn't mean to highlight. And if I were to plug the 7 in for the n of x, I would say 7 equals 3x plus 13. If I subtracted, I don't know, I haven't tried this before, but if I tried putting a 7 right there, and then I did minus 13 on both sides, ooh, I am not good at this. Well, you guys get the point. 7 take away 13 would be negative 6. And then we would have negative 6 equals that 3x right there. And then if we divide both sides by 3, go back to the mouse. I tried. That didn't work out too well. We would have negative 6 equals 3x divided by 3 would give us a negative 2. So that's the correct answer for number 9 and why it's the correct answer. Then for this one, we are going to plug in these values for x. So if I plug in a negative 3 for the x, this means multiply, right? When we have a number next to a letter. So negative 5 times negative 3 would be a positive 15. And then I would do this plus add this negative 5, which is like subtracting 5. So I would have 10. Then if I plug in 0, well, 0 x's, that part would just go away. So it would just be negative 5. And then if I plug in a positive 1, 5 times 1 is just 5, or negative 5 times 1 would be negative 5. So I have negative 5 and negative 5, which makes negative 10. And so that's my answer for that one. Here is where you guys would choose a file and upload a picture of your work, just so that we can see your work for your review so that you can get credit for it. And then I'm going to go ahead and submit my quiz and see how I did. Yeah, it's telling me I didn't answer that question. And it told me that I got 10 out of 10. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that score. Hopefully you guys can take a look at your questions right here. It will give you some good feedback and let you know which parts of the questions were correct, which parts were incorrect. It does tell me that it's unanswered. I forgot to upload a picture right there. So make sure you guys understand all of this, because all of these things will be on your quiz. And so that is it for our solutions for the Practice 4 quiz.